Welcome back to the channel. I'm standing here in front of the railway station in Da Nang because I'm about to take a train through the Hải Vân Pass to the ancient imperial city of Hue. I'll be staying at a very old hotel and we'll dig into the history of the city as well. I invite you to tag along. I must apologize that the train windows weren't particularly clean. I was also seated a bit awkwardly in relation to the window, but I hope you'll still be able to enjoy the view. It's wise to buy your train ticket a few days in advance. Trains often sell out. I bought mine about a week before the trip. You can choose between different sleeping options and also the one I went for, which is the soft seat. A sleeper cabin isn't really relevant for this short daytime journey. I paid 122,000 VND for the ticket to Hue. That's about €4 or just under $5. I recommend buying your ticket at the station in Da Nang if you're there a week or so before the trip, or via the official website, which is dsvn.vn. I'll include the link in the description. All other websites charge extra, and sometimes a lot extra. The train I took both ways was the famous Reunification Express, which connects Hanoi in the north with Ho Chi Minh City in the south several times daily. The word express must be a relic from another era, because if there's one thing this train is not, it's fast. The full journey from Hanoi to Ho Chi Minh City takes around 36 hours, and that's for a distance of roughly 1,700 kilometers. The journey between Da Nang and Hue, about 94 kilometers, is scheduled to take around 3.5 hours, but my train took just over 4 hours. It was already an hour late when we left Da Nang, so let's just say that I didn't need an early check-in at the hotel when I arrived. The delays are mainly due to the fact that the route only has a single track with a 100 centimeter gauge for those interested in that, and there are only a few passing points where northbound and southbound trains can meet, so you have to wait for each other, and that means delays tend to ripple in both directions. But never mind that, it was a lovely trip. The seats are fairly comfortable, there's a bit of air conditioning to keep the heat at bay, the recline is decent, and there's plenty of legroom, so you can lean back without bothering anyone. Food is available on board, either from a food cart, which I never found, or from vendors who regularly walk through the train offering all sorts of options. It's cheap. The real highlight of the train ride between Da Nang and Hue is the scenic route itself, with stunning views, especially of course through the Hải Vân Pass, but much more than that too. In many places it feels like you're traveling through untouched wilderness, with vast green landscapes outside the windows giving way to coastlines, bays and open farmland sometimes. The train ride itself is an attraction, one of the most beautiful routes I can remember traveling. If you get the option, and you do if you book online, try to reserve a window seat on the right hand side on the way north and on the left hand side on the way back. I arrived in Hue. I'm now waiting for my Grab to take me to the hotel. Xin chào.
Do you know what that means?
So, almost being grabbed out of my Grab by a man in a nice uniform who will take my luggage. I'm already enjoying the grandeur of this beautiful lobby. 124 years old. And I'll now set the Vietnamese people on a test because they're usually very impatient and I'm not running to the reception. So they're wondering what's wrong with me. Let's go and check in. And I'm on the second floor. Once the lift starts moving, yeah, you'll see how nice this glass lift is. It's very stylish. And here we go. It's doable to take the stairs, I think. And my room is 219. And here we go. Welcome to my room. Let's take a small room tour. This is the bathroom, which is kind of nice. And I already did take a sneak peek before I invited you with me. So one thing I saw everywhere is that branding at this hotel is really on point. This M for the Morin Hotel is on everything. And I find it elegant and I like it. It's on the towels. Obviously it was there. And here we have like the entrance, and they gave me some slippers. And they are, obviously, they're branded. And so is the shoe shining kit. In case I need to shine my shoes, I don't. But if I did, there's a safety box, and then also there are some ropes. And when I look at them, I think I'm not going to use them. I think they are going to be extremely small for someone my size. Here's the minibar. And also there's a fridge with assorted goodies that are available for a price, of course. I think the prices are kind of okay. The beer is slightly below $2. So I think for a hotel minibar, that's fine. I have this really nice king-size double bed, which is it's really, really soft. It's very comfortable. I don't want to get up once I get in. Then I have a seating area here, and they have been so nice. They have brought me some fruit, which I really appreciate, some water, coffee and tea. And then I have a desk, which is also nice because I'm gonna, as always, be doing some work during the days. And then I requested a balcony and I got one. Not every room has one, but I got one, and here it is. And it's so big. And I'm tempted to call it a terrace rather than a balcony. There's some traffic noise outside, but that's because there's also a street. And here then we have, if you can see it, I hope you can, you have the view, and it's a river view. Right where I'm pointing now is the bridge across the Perfume River, and on the other side of that bridge is the market halls. And I may take a stroll there once I've settled in my room. So they gave me two upgrades. One is that I had booked a standard room, which is 45 square meters. It's called something with a Colonial something. It sounds fancy. But this is a deluxe premium double room, which is larger and would usually also be slightly more expensive. Also, the river view is an upgrade. I pay per night what's around 50 American dollars, including the breakfast I'm going to show you tomorrow, hopefully, or the day after, which is supposed to be an extravaganza. $50 is not a high budget, but it's higher than what I usually do. But I did that on purpose. Since I discovered that this hotel exists, I've just had this feeling that I have to go there. So I'll be staying here for 3 nights, and I hope I'll enjoy it. I like the atmosphere. I like that it's old. I like that you can see slightly worn places here and there because it's old. I don't mind. I've seen reviews saying people are, we can see some patina here and there, and as if they're surprised that they booked into a hotel that was 124 years old and somebody had been there before them. Right now I'm going to make myself a cup of coffee, eat the fruit, and then I'll just go on and discover the hotel. But look how nice these halls are, because usually hotel halls are extremely dark because there'll be rooms on both sides. But here there are rooms on one side and windows on the other sides, and it gives not just daylight, but also a lightness that, in my opinion, makes it so nice. Everywhere you go here, it breathes history. There are historical pictures and photos everywhere on the walls that lend to this atmosphere of being a place that's very, very special. And also, the founder of the hotel from France, Vladimir Morin, we probably today we call it the Morin Hotel, but I guess his name was Morin. There's a portrait of him here. He took over the hotel after it had been built. So he didn't originally build the first part of the hotel in 1901, but he took it over a couple of years later, and then it was in the family for generations. There's a book, if one is interested in with pictures and history from the hotel. And I don't know how many people will dig into it, but it's all part of the atmosphere that makes this hotel special, or also the decorations around the lift and some of these details that are from a time long gone. The staircase has this also majestic feeling of, you could walk down here in your very elegant clothing, ready for the party. There's a restaurant which I think is open for dinner. If it's bad weather during breakfast, breakfast will be served here, otherwise outside. And also you can have a banquet or something. And the menu is very Vietnamese. It's Vietnamese dishes, and it looks really delicious. And then there's one detail that I really like. In some restaurant menus, they will make the smallest note possible that says that VAT, a certain percentage, will be added, and a service charge, a certain percentage, will be added. There's also a very small text here. Not sure if you can read it. I'll read it for you. It says, the rates quoted above are inclusive of 5% service charge and 10% VAT. I've never seen that before. So basically what they say is, we will not charge you extra. Already from the outside, I think it's clear that this hotel has a certain style and a certain soul that is far from what we are used to seeing in modern brand hotels. So it looks very grand from the outside. I think one of the reasons that it's actually so large is the choice of having only rooms on one side of the corridors, and then having light and windows on the other side of the corridors. So it's not packed as tightly as some hotels are. And then another thing is that, as far as I know from booking the room, the smallest room they have is 45 square meters, which is 2 to 3 times the size of the smallest room in a lot of hotels. So yeah, it takes up a lot of space, but it's quite amazing. The section I'm in right now is where the breakfast will be served, and I will have a closer look at that. I'm looking very much forward to that. And then the other section, which I'll get to in a minute, will be the swimming pool section. And here in the middle is this gigantic tree, which is an Indian almond tree, and it was planted over 100 years ago. So here's the main event, of course. If you know me, you'll know that I will judge, of course, every hotel for its fitness facilities. So I can go down and train this body that has been so well designed and growing over the years. Obviously, I'm kidding. But what I noticed is that you can do at least kind of a lot of stuff here if you want to. And what I also noticed is that there's an air conditioning unit, so you can choose to get in here and switch on the air conditioning. Should you be more into relaxing and wellness, the whole spa section will offer all kinds of treatments. There's a list over here. Yeah. You can have haircut, shampoo, manicure, pedicure, facial mask, facial massage, body massage, whatever. Here's the pool area with seemingly enough sunbeds for everyone. You can have something served here. There's a pool bar, and also I told you about the branding earlier, the M, and the pool is branded as well, which I find also very, very charming. There are pool tables available for free. And here we are, back in the lobby.
So this is mesmerize the whole universe in one small ball of the city. And why we call it a whole universe? So in our universe we have 5.
On the first evening, I took a food tour with my private guide, Lynn. It was very interesting, it was tasty, and Lynn showed me a lot of local dishes that I could then recognize when I had the big breakfast buffet at the hotel. It was brilliant.
So this one is water, the broth, and with her city we always have something chili, spicy, make the hot inside. So this one
fire.
represents fire. And also we have the banana roll. Yeah, when we slice it, we have the round shape represent for the moon. Yeah, and the star fruit represent for the star. So we call it the whole
Everything,
universe.
yeah?
Yeah, anything in one bowl. And
Thank
for the way we have the rice, we have two types. First one is dry, and number two is wet. So I will try give you the dry first. We'll give in here. This one is shrimp, solid shrimp sauce.
Yeah.
Very famous in every dishes in Thai city. Have you eaten chili?
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
Very nice. And also a spoon of sauce. Yes, you mix everything together with 3 spoons of the broth. Protect the dry way. Okay. When you eat almost a half, you will protect the whole of the broth inside the bowl.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, this one is for you. Enjoy it.
Thank you. Good morning. It is 10 minutes to 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm ready to go on a guided tour in this old Citadel in Hue. I'm looking very much forward to meeting my guide and to being taken through these historical landmarks, being told everything. So this is going to be a perfect day. Good morning, I should say. Let's have a look at breakfast. It's close to 8 o'clock in the morning. And the breakfast area, albeit very large, is at capacity. I think I found a vacant table, I hope. Nobody was sitting there and there was nothing on it. And that was the only one available. But let's have a look at what you can indulge yourself in. There's a lot. Here's the combined egg and soup station, where you can have your eggs prepared the way you want, and then also, of course, you can have a pho and the local delicacy bun bo hue, which they will prepare for you, and then there will be plenty of toppings for you to use. I will try not to get in too many people's ways with the camera, so that makes it a little bit difficult. Here you have a local specialty, which is rice noodles, and you can then add mussels here. I had it on my food tour. There are sweet potatoes. There is a plain rice flan. And then there are ban nam and ban goi, which are local specialties, packed in banana leaves. They will be small dumpling-y, I would say, things with either rice, shrimp filling, or some shredded shrimp on the top. Here we have ban it, sticky rice cake, they call it, with shrimp. Plenty of vegetables. If you would like a more green and salady breakfast. And then the base, you can say, for some salads with three different dressings. You can not build a bear, but build a banh mi if you want to. And then heat it on the coals afterwards. There's so much here that you really have to make some tough decisions. Here we have bacon, sausage, garlic bread, and I'm not sure what that is. And then we have rice porridge, which you will usually, it's like a congee or rice porridge. It's not going to be very flavorful, because then you add the toppings, which could be, for instance, salted eggs or pork floss. Here, if you fancy a boiled egg, of course you can have that. There's fish. Then there's porridge again, but this time with minced beef. There are hat chow, which is shrimp and pork dumplings. Here you have to prepare yourself that small shrimp is usually with the shell on, it's soft, but it's there. And then there's fried rice and stewed beef. There's so much to choose from here. If you would like spaghetti carbonara for breakfast, well, right now it needs to be refilled, but obviously that will happen in a second. So that's an option. Rice pudding. And you have more like what they call cake, ban uot and ban lok. I know the ban loks contain a piece of shrimp. The ban uot, I'm not sure what they contain. Of course, there's plenty of pastries and cakes and desserts and other things that you can, if your belt is too loose, you can tighten it. Here there's yogurt, there are fruits. The yogurt on these parts of the world is really good. And then we go to the more Western traditional thing, which are different cheeses and some cold cuts, some sausage. It's not salami, I'm not sure what it is. And smaller sausage and ham. You can of course have cereals, marmalade, bananas, butter, and then there's quite a nice bread section. It's not, it's not a big deal since bread is hard to come by in this country. I'm quite impressed by the bread section. I find it beautiful. And then of course, and here is the the dreaded hotel toaster, which takes a long time and does nothing. And then of course you can refresh yourself with orange juice, watermelon juice and water. So the problem is to pace yourself, to figure out what you want the most. And I haven't decided yet, but I think it will be some of those so-called cakes, dumpling-y thingy, and then it will be some soup, and here we have coffee and tea. To my surprise, I discovered yesterday that the coffee is like filtered coffee. It's not this strong Vietnamese coffee that you see. Yeah, but the breakfast area is amazing, and you could go here. You can actually, you can go in from the street, and for 200,000 Vietnamese dong, which is more or less €7 and $8, you can take part in the breakfast without staying here, or you can decide to stay here and have the breakfast included. I think also the atmosphere in this beautiful, beautiful garden, where you hear people chatting and then you hear the water from the fountains. It is absolutely amazing. Homeward bound, or at least bound for Da Nang after 3 days in the way. The train is delayed by an hour already. I think that's the norm, and there was quite a rush getting onto the train at the railway station in Hue. But we're driving now, but not everyone is seated yet. Yeah. Everything works as it's supposed to, but also everything is kind of chaotic and noisy. It's like sometimes Vietnamese society is like the Vietnamese traffic, I think. But seated, comfortable. I think also luckily on the side of the train with the views on the way back. So all is fine.